Alright, how you all doing? Hope you're doing well. I've got some stuff to talk about today in this video for one length irons and people who are maybe thinking about one length or are playing one length. Some things that I think need to be revisited, possibly been missed or added in. What we've got here is a 56 degree Cobra wedge and a 7-iron. They are absolutely identical in length. Not only that, but they're identical in lie angle. So they're identical in lie angle and they're the same length. Near enough the same swing weight, because Cobra are very good at swing weighting their irons so they all swing and feel the same. Now, why is this beneficial to your game, and why would swinging a wedge that's a 7-iron length be of greater advantage than disadvantage? Because mostly I think people feel there's some sort of mystery around one length, which obviously I think a lot of people don't understand that one length wedges make you swing smoother and at a better tempo than standard length. Now, I call it the 2-to-1 tempo, and that tempo has been well documented on the tour. It's a frequency, if you like, that, just let me adjust this slightly, has been well documented on tour, and all good tour players have it. And what one length gives you is this tempo. And I think how one length work is not only are you setting up the same with every club in the bag, and you have the same posture, so your swing then becomes more repeatable, which for us amateurs, weekend golfers, anytime you can just put the same swing on a club, doesn't matter if it's a wedge, a 7-iron, a 5-iron, etc. Right? Anytime you can do that. If you think about how many irons you carry in your bag, right? Most of us carry, say, 5 to gap wedge, 2 or 3 wedges in our bag, and you tend to hit quite a lot of shots with your irons. And obviously, the smoother you swing, the better tempo you swing with, and the more you do something, the more it translates into the rest of your bag. So your driver, you start to swing smoother at that. You start to swing smoother at your 3-wood or your 5-wood. You even start to have better tempo with your putter. And I know some of you might have doubts about that, but it's the way the one length system is designed to work. I think it's Avoda. They've brought out a one length system as well, but where theirs differs slightly, they have the same lie angles, and they have like wedge to a 7-iron, all the same length, a 7-iron length. And then, but what Avoda do is the 654 is graduated an inch longer for each club. Same lie angle though, right? Now, Voda are compensating for the long irons that people said they were struggling to flight the ball as high as they wanted. Because obviously, 7 iron shaft, if you have a cranked loft, then the chances of you really flighting the ball high due to torque is going to be quite difficult to do. Cobra have stuck with a one length constant, so they do not do graduated, like they're just one length, 7 iron length in every club. Now, I can see plus and minus points for both of these, and I definitely say if you're in the market for one length or trying it, by all means, try Cobra, try Avoda. There's a few other companies that do one length, but maybe not to the same custom ability. But there are companies out there as well, so don't take it from. Do your research on it. What I'm really telling you is how it changes your swing tempo throughout the set, which translates through your bag. And we're not talking about swinging on a one plane swing, because, or a single plane swing. And I'll tell you why that is, because one length does not necessarily mean that you're going to swing everything on the exact one length, as in one plane swing that everyone sees as linear. If this was 45 degrees and you were swinging on that, like back and through, never breaking the pane of glass in Hogan's book that you see, that's kind of like what everyone assumes is a single plane swing. So it goes back and down and through on this imaginary line. And to a degree, you could use a 45-degree line to show a plane, because unless you have some sort of reference point, it's very difficult to see a plane. But if we use this cup here, and you were standing in the middle of this cup and you were swinging, there's your 45-degree, and there's your circle. So your club would go back through and back and round. It's like if you're standing in an X-planar in here and you're swinging. So you're swinging back to the top, swinging through, and you're on the circle. However, the line you're seeing is, you assume it's a straight line. As soon as you move your plane or your circle, this circle, onto from vertical, that's vertical, we can see that. And then as soon as we start to move here onto the 45, it now becomes elliptical. So the circle doesn't look like that anymore. It becomes elliptical, which if we slightly compress this and maybe turn it, it becomes oval. That's the only place where the actual angle moves, and it's elliptical. Now, elliptical orbits are nothing new. Um, the moon and the earth go round, and obviously the sun's in the middle, and everything's going round, and it's actually on an elliptical orbit. That's why some nights, some months, the moon is much bigger because it's closer to Earth. Other months it's further away because it's on a huge elliptical orbit. So, and it gets closer to us, right? Same sort of thing about the golf swing. It's elliptical, and this is where one length really helps and gets more consistency in your swing, because it doesn't matter what club you're swinging. The low point is all the same, right? So your low point control throughout the bag is the same. And then that in itself builds in the consistency. And then from there, the rest of your clubs get the same consistency with a 2-1 ratio, which is the tempo, if you like, right? And obviously low point control, which again, the low point is actually beyond the ball before it goes up. So you're hitting down and catching the ball and still hitting down before you actually start to go back up again. True low point control. Hence why all your clubs have a bounce on the sole in varying degrees. Obviously, the greater the loft on the club, the more effectual bounce you need, so that the club doesn't just it's got to just go in and come up. It's got to bounce, right? If you've got less loft, you need less bounce because the club's coming in shallower. Therefore, it's not got a tendency really to dig, and it's going to bounce as it comes down and through, which is why most cavity back sort of game improvement irons have quite a wide sole to give you a bit of forgiveness, but still hard. There's not a lot of bounce on that. And like your traditional blades are the same width, but they get narrower in the long irons, and they get slightly wider in the short irons and have a greater bounce, and the bounce is on the back, right? So that the club can hit down but then come up, not just because if it didn't, if you straight into the turf, you'd just hit everything heavy. So these factors are all there with every club in your bag, and if you've got a varied length set of irons and you're trying to get a repeatable swing, you will have to work 10 times harder on the range to repeat your swing. One length, you'll repeat your swing with half the effort. That's basically the major, huge benefit of one length. Hard part about one length is the initial fit. You've got to spend a lot of time on the fit. You've got to get all your wedges one length for a start after you've got a fit for the actual irons themselves. And then from there, you're golden. It only gets better. Each time you play, each time you practice, you're not playing something that is like out the ordinary, weird in any way. The likes of Mo Norman, say Sam Snead, Ben Hogan, more than a few others that I can mention. Played what is termed, or what Avoda, going back to what Avoda are going with. So their wedges down to like their 7 iron were all pretty much the same length, and then they graduated to slightly longer irons. So this one length thing, buzz about one length, it's been a thing for many, many years. Just nobody talked about it. And now, for some reason, apart from a couple of companies, quite big companies and quite independent companies, like your major manufacturers are running scared of one length. And, TaylorMade, Mizuno, Callaway, Wilson, they're all running scared of one length. Cobra with Bryson DeChambeau put really one length back on the modern map as an option. It's still really quite out there. Like if you took a sample of your golfers in the club, maybe out of 80 or 90 members, you might have 2 playing one length. Unless you've actually tried one length, it's a very, very difficult sell. If somebody says, "Oh yeah, I play one length," most people will go, "What are you playing one length for?" It's not something. And that's where new golfers coming into the game will be more open to playing one length or trying one length than an older golfer who's played for years and years and years with conventional. Because of the preconceptions they've built up about things. So you need to keep an open mind. But once you do that, there's major, major gains and benefits to be had that transition all the way through your bag to every club in your bag. Unlike standard length. So we'll leave it at that, and you can comment below if you've tried to set a one length yet. Have you thought about it? Have you heard about Avoda and their kind of what they call stepped? But they're stepped as one length from like the wedge to the 7, and then the 6, 5, 4 gets slightly longer. They're all the same lie angle, they're all the same swing weight, so effectively they are one length, the same as Cobra. That's what Cobra do. So let me know in the comments. Hope you found this interesting, and there's a lot of videos coming up on the range and stuff. This might be the last video you see before Christmas, so have a great Christmas and a good new year, and we'll see you all soon, probably after the new year. I'm night shift working over Christmas, so I don't have much chance of doing much, and I could possibly be having to work New Year as well, due to a roster change. That's great. So anyway, thanks for watching, listening and supporting the channel, and we'll see you all soon.